And then any questions from that, along with anything else y'all want to ask him about where he are now and what's going on with him, okay?
Very good.
Elitom.
All right. My name is Elitom El-amin, and I'm a breatharian and breatharian teacher. Now, the breatharian journey is a holistic lifestyle. It's just taking it to another level. Now, breatharian comes from an ancient word which means anidia. This is not new knowledge. Anidia means to eat very little or none at all. Over the last couple of decades, it's been making a resurrection, not only with myself, but other breatharian teachers on the planet, and it's coming out more to the public now, even though it's been here in esoteric circles.
Yeah.
Now, when I started this journey, and when you look at some of my past interviews in the past, it usually starts with my introduction and coming into the kingdom, because this is where I learned the holistic lifestyle. Of course, my health was bad. I was overweight. I was a minister in the church. And then, when I got introduced to the kingdom on a meatless lifestyle, and I began to do my diet and exercise, which is the first and second initiation of the spiritual path, my health began to change and I began to bring more energy into the body. Another thing that helped was the fasting once a week for the Shabbat. So even when I teach today, I still lay down that foundation because, again, this isn't far-fetched. This is a holistic lifestyle. But you only can create what you know. This is like a download of information. So, as I got on this, one day I ran into a sister who said there's people who don't eat at all. So I began to look up the information, and at that time, and the reason why I teach all around the world now is because there wasn't that much information out there. But I make it a point now to give as much information as I can so we can change the consensus reality and people can have this information to change the energetic matrix of the planet. Now, so this is a health message. So even though if you're not planning on going food free, you should at least be able to understand that your life is all about energy, balancing out these energies. And the more you balance out these energies in your life, it brings more light into the body. Our relationships is energetic. Our jobs is energetic. What we put in our bodies, what we put on our bodies is energetic. Everything is how we deal with these energies that actually nourishes us. Food is just 10% on what we're dealing with, what nourishes you. Now, when you look at the epidemic of the West, for instance, high blood pressure, cancer, stroke, diabetes, all of those shows that humanity do not understand how to balance out the energies. In other words, they're eating for survival, and food should not be for survival. If you don't eat, you die. That's a program. All diet changes is a belief system. You got to understand this. All physical matter has an electromagnetic field. And even our physical bodies. And not only we can open up these energy channels within the body, it's your responsibility to keep them open continually. And it brings more energy to the body. Now, if you leave food alone altogether, you're going to have problems and you'll die. This is a process. You must grow, and meditation is the foundation. You have energy channels all over the body. Wherever there's a bend in the body, that's a place where there's energy centers at. There's energy centers in the hands, the elbows, the wrists. And through different meditation practices, you can open up these energy channels. And when an energy channel is open with no blockages, you can eat very little or none at all. And what we mean by very little, we mean like once every 3 days, once a week. There's many different levels of the breatharian journey. There's some people who conscious eat. They know that whatever you eat, that's not keeping you alive. I don't care if it was from a chicken to an apple. They just don't matter. That's an illusion compared to what true human potential could do. When you grow into this process, just like building a physical muscle, you lifting weights and it gets stronger. The more you meditate, bring your body and your mind into samadhi. In other words, silence and stillness. it gets stronger and stronger energetically. So you're building up your light body. Now, like I said, this knowledge ain't new. The pharaohs got fed by their light body. This light body is everywhere you go, but you must come back in tune with it. And your body is in tune with nature already. You don't have to become one with nature. You're already there. You must recognize it because it's a perception of consciousness. When we look at diet changes, our bodies is like biocomputers. And whoever gave you that download, that's how you're functioning. So, I remember when I first started, I went to the doctor's office. They had the food pyramid with the meat group on it. That was a program that people was under. Then, when I left America a couple years ago, in the doctor's office, they had a food pyramid with the meatless diet. So therefore, it took a while for even veganism to get accepted. Now McDonald's is giving you a vegan burger. Right. So knowledge don't hit everybody at once. It comes slowly as humanity keeps changing. So, and like I said, the more this knowledge get out there, and when I take people through the process, it's more than just a theoretical knowledge. I actually work with you on these meditations, the different energy meditations, because you're living in the ocean of energy. You're living at the bottom of gases, and you got access to these gases. You can balance them out. You even pass gases going through you. Matter of fact, your mouth is connected to your anus. You got a hole going through you. That's why people who do a lot of fasting, you understand, they can talk about their energy start picking up. Some of the indications when you start living more on prana. Now let's take that word prana. It just means breath. I'm here in Israel, I could use the word ruach. China used the word chi. Japan used the word ki. Africa used the word ka. That's where we get the word the Kaaba, the Merkaba. All ancient civilizations was dealing with this force, you understand? Now, it's just like electricity. People really can't tell you what electricity is, but what man has done was learn how to harness it and use it for what they want to use it for. The same energy that charges up your cell phone also charges us up. When you go to sleep at night, you are in an unconscious meditation. You're actually charging up, regenerating, regrouping. The cells of the body feed off of ATP. Even the brain waves in the brain slow themselves down so you can recharge. When you get into conscious meditation, you're doing the same thing. You're charging up just like a cell phone. If your cell phone is at 50%, you want 100%, you charge up until it gets to 100%. So it ain't about how long you meditate. All you need to do is meditate until you charge up. If all you need is 20%, that's all you need. But the thing I tell people is to stay consistent. This is a lifestyle. You understand? Everything we do is energetic. So not only you receiving energy, you're also spending energy. But the average human being is going bankrupt. In other words, you're putting money in the bank and can't pay it back. So pain, suffering, illness. Again, if we close the energy channels up, all you got to do is reverse the process. It's sort of like when we look at sickness, illness, and disease. Those are three stages of the same thing. They're just at different degrees. A sickness is sort of like a cold. Your body automatically heals itself from that. An illness is a lot harder to get rid of, but your body still gets rid of it. And the disease can be reversed. It's just at another degree. But if you stick with the lifestyle and make changes, you can overcome a disease. Because the cells of the body, not only they tear themselves down, they also constantly regenerate themselves. In other words, you always, every 5 days or whatever, you got new intestines. You got a new stomach. You got new skin. That's why our bodies is on daily cycles, weekly cycles, monthly cycles, yearly cycles. Once you start getting into these cycles and these new cells are being created, it's bringing another frequency off the body, and constantly you're becoming into a whole new being, which also brings a whole new consciousness. Now let's get into this consciousness. Like they used to say in a Hermetic text, everything is mind, or everything is consciousness. Let's take a word called animism. like they used to say in voodoo, which means spirits. Everything, the river has a consciousness. The mountains. You understand? So, as we deal in this ocean of consciousness, I'm just changing the text a little bit. Everything becomes animated. You're feeding off of everything. They even got a thing called feng shui. Just by how you place the furniture in your house will bring more energy to the body. See, there's things to bring energy to us, but there's things to also rob us of energy. The synergy of people feed us, or it can drain you. You got to understand this. That's why a community of people of like mind is usually a lot stronger. So that's why even though I'm going around educating humanity, I'm doing it to help myself. Because the more the consciousness of the consensus reality change, it helps me so I can live even better. You understand? Because this is me. The only thing that exists is the creator and the creature. And they both powered by the same force. That's why the force of oneness is the ultimate way of how a breatharian got to think. It's a thought process. There ain't no division. Is this making sense? Are y'all following me? So coming into this process,
Yes.
it's sort of like when I was in the kingdom and I first got into fasting once a week. And I remember, man, I got to do 24 hours. So I actually will wait outside I actually will go to the restaurant first before the Shabbat start to eat my favorite meal. And then when the Shabbat was over, I was at the restaurant waiting for the Shabbat to be over so I could go get my favorite meal again. But I was proud at least that I did the 24 hours. You understand? But over a period of time, my body got used to that new cycle, used to that new habit. You understand? So pretty soon, one time me and a friend was talking with each other. We was in a conversation that we really enjoyed. And we enjoyed it so much, we forgot that Shabbat was over. We said, oh, we got to go get something to eat. But then we said, wait a minute, we weren't even hungry. We were so much in that new frequency of a conversation that we really enjoyed, that was the nourishment that was nourishing us. See, food is a habit. And most people eat because of emotions, boredom. You understand? Different stresses in life. You're in a bad relationship, this and that. All this other stuff. It ain't got nothing to do with you starving or hungry. So when you come into this, it's a path of consciousness to open up. See, the more healthier the body, the more relaxed the body, the more flexibility in the body, the more flexible the consciousness, the more relaxed the consciousness. They're one and the same. Your body is an extension of your mind. And your mind is an extension of the atmosphere you're living in. See, the world exists because we made it exist. Just making sense. See,
Absolutely.
we have to transcend the old belief systems that was put before us that's blocking us from the source of power. We're living in it. You must transcend these gods, if you want to give them that name, of false powers that's been draining our energy. So the truth been hidden in plain sight. You had connection to it. So now, all you must do is change the perception of thought, be consistent. And when you be consistent and give yourself time and love yourself, ain't no losing in this. You just have to give yourself time because the frequency of your thought process goes faster than the frequency of the body. The body is like frozen light. So you have to give the body time to get this new download, this new memo, so it can make its changes. See, the body's been doing a good job. It's been doing a good job keeping us alive. I seen one man when I was a teenager, he used to drink a lot, and I seen him about a year ago, and I said, you still alive? And he's still drinking. That shows you how much his body has put up with, but it's keeping him alive. But guess what? Everybody's body is automatically connected with the sources again. Every time the sun comes out, our pineal glands in the head gives off a hormone called serotonin, puts it in the blood. As soon as the moon comes out, it gives off melatonin. It didn't even ask our permission. The body is automatically doing its job. is what? Obedient and consecrated to nature, but it's also listening to our wishes that we put it through. You understand? That's why when we start learning these set times and cycles and start getting back into them, the body by its nature already knows how to be food free. It was just like a genie in a lamp listening to our last request. You understand? So this is the connection of heaven and earth again. You're the conduit in the middle. This is what? The male and female energy is already in us. You have to make that connection. This is what we call the marriage of the Lamb. The words is already there. But we got to redefine and take it from myth into reality. To live it, to understand it, and become it. And when you become it, life changes. People say, how's my life going? I'm living in heaven. Why should I complain? I'm with good people, doing what I love to do. No aches and pains in the body, full of energy, healthy, happy, doing just what I want to do. This is how life's supposed to be because you're living in a realm of heaven. You're living in a realm of pleasure and delight. The last frequencies came from the deception or the lowness of our perception of how we was using this reality, our relationship to it. You understand? Everything's a relationship. And this is what we have to get back to.
Elitom, you have said a lot of things that are so succinct and in harmony with the daily exercise that we, display online here. Possibly if some of the family has some questions. I have a question. I want to activate this question and then exactly where you are right now. Because my wife asked me the question. She's like, okay, I understand what you're saying, breatharian and all that, but you mean to tell me he don't eat, he don't drink, man? Exactly where you are now in terms of consumption of any physical food or any physical water, exactly where you are now and how is your health?
Absolutely. The health is on key. And dealing with physical food, none at all. Because keep in mind that these are frequencies. Now dealing with fluids, there's times if you go to use the Wi-Fi in the restaurant, you buy something. You could buy tea, you could buy water, or you don't need to. Now you don't need water at all. Now listen at this, family. I got a YouTube channel that you could go to and it answer all these minor questions. It's dealing about the liquid journey, how to get past that. Because everything, the reason why, see, the more you eat, the more you need to drink.
That's correct.
Everything you eat, your body produces mucus, which is a liquid. But it produces it to help us so it can pass through the body smoothly. The less mucus you have in the body, the less you will feel thirsty. The thirsty feeling comes because the body wants to what? Purge itself, detoxify itself. So when you take it the other way again, by living, they even got the mucus-free diets. You understand? And then you will get into, this is why this is called self-realization. It's one thing to listen to me, but it's another thing to put your body into these cycles when you can feel and see it for yourself. Because I could tell you anything. But when you go into your own process, and I'm telling it to you, it's not far-fetched, it's a holistic lifestyle again that everybody can do. But you got to desire it. You got to want it. And you will see these things come to pass because, again, all of our body is in these cycles. So where I'm at, no physical food whatsoever. No water whatsoever. Usually people bring up water instead of bringing up liquids. Water is boring. Why do you want to drink water for? It's the truth. Right. You don't need that no more. Your body produces its fluids. The blood is produced from the bone marrow. Your seminal fluids is produced from the brain. Your cerebral spinal fluid is produced in the brain. And this is a good age we live in. You can get on YouTube, look up the cerebral spinal fluid. It comes from the atmosphere that you're living in. See, the atmosphere, you're living in water. Not only you breathe the oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, argon, water. Now, for those who are sensitive, I feel the liquid or the fluid within the atmosphere right now. You understand? Your body is a good absorber. Now, even though they told us, now listen at this. You got the sun, this big thermonuclear thing that we living in the sky. You get vitamin D from the sun. You mean to tell me that's all you get? You get a lot more, but somebody just told you that. Limited your thinking.
Why did they tell us melanin was blocking vitamin D and that most black people, dark-skinned people, had vitamin D deficiency?
Right, now bring that up to the camera.
Oh.
Now listen what the sister said.
Yeah, lately in the last few years I've been hearing a lot of, even Hebrews, people saying that melanated people have a tendency to have vitamin D deficiency because the melanin is blocking the vitamin D from the sun.
Now listen at this. First of all, the chemical of melanin is worth $400 a gram right now. Go look it up. You're expensive. It's worth more than gold. Why? Because it's a good conductor of energy. They're using it to make batteries now. It's electronics. See, this is what we're dealing with. The body is a good conductor of energy. And all the human family have different levels and degrees of melanin. The main thing is the neuromelanin that's in our brain. Dealing with the what? Pineal gland. You understand? Dealing with the chambers of the mind. See, we have an electrical system on us. That's why meditation is the foundation. And your neural brain, just by me moving my hand, that was an electrical signal. You understand? So not only you have the electrical part in you that you can activate more through meditation, you also have the chemical part of you that deals with the endocrine system. We're constantly giving off hormones. You understand? You're hormonal. So that's where they get the word alchemy. Alchemy, the EL, the electricity. Chem, the chemical. You're constantly. When you do a recipe, when you're cooking something, you're putting different ingredients in to create something different. And when we look at the photosynthesis of plants, photo means light, synthesis means combining. So now you got a human photosynthesis. I know they've been scared to say it, but we're saying it now. Yes, you feed off of light. Yes, you are in a light. That's all you see is light. When you're looking at me right now, you're looking at a light beam. You ain't looking at nothing less. That's all you see. We got to come back into this perception. What is everybody talking about? And not only you see light, sound is a form of light. And then you got light you can't see. See, our physical eyes only see a small portion of the UV spectrum. There's microwaves going through your body, gamma rays, radio waves. Your favorite radio station is going through you right now. You understand? And there's more unseen forces that we have contact with than the forces we think we see. See, that's why when you deal with your automatic system of the body, those are things that automatic processes that's happening, ain't even asking your permission. That's when you allowing, that's why this is called allowing, to run on autopilot. So it can take care of itself. That's why when I told you, when I first started fasting once a week on a Shabbat, it was hard at first. But over a period of time, I found myself one time I really had to mow my yard because the city was on me. So as I'm mowing it, I'm mowing the yard with no eating or drinking. You understand? Wasn't even tired. That showed you that the body picked up more energy. It got used to that new habit. I tell people master one day before you can master more. You understand? Now there's many different levels and degrees of living on prana. You got your baby levels. On the beginning, you go on for a while, you fall down and stuff. I've been in this game for 18 years. I'm straight up food and drink free. You understand? And I'm teaching on an international level, so I take this very seriously for the human family to have this. Because like they say, practice what you preach. You understand? So now, this is a new age we in. So I could create those in my likeness and my image. Uh-oh, did I say that?
Yep.
Wait, something took me.
You got his universe going on.
Well, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Because before we was in another likeness and image.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. You're like an avatar. And in other words, the way we act is saying that the energies we under is showing itself. is presenting itself. So that's why when we change these lifestyle or styles of living, the way we are extracting, the way we're using our mind.
Styles of existence.
Styles of existence.
Not living.
Right. I like that. Styles of existence. Thank you, Nasi.
So family, I think he covered that real well. Any questions to the family, to him, any particular points you want to ask,
Yes.
Bakasha, please.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Total about for a great presentation and for being in our midst. And I think we have to say Toda to the ancestors, because it's not an accident that you came at the time you came. I not months ago. And the universe brought you at the proper time. The ancestors brought you. The question that I have, remember, I was with you.
Right.
And I might preface my question by saying you created the best live menu I have ever seen. And then you went on.
You did raw.
So it was a process.
Right.
And I would like you to talk a little bit about, say, a person right now is an omnivore or a vegan, or would you recommend a process to go from vegan eating cooked food to live to as I want you to do? I watched you go to live, and then next thing I know, you were on juice. Next thing I know, you kept on going. So the question is, how would you, what kind of process, or is there a preferred, when a person is at a certain level, would you recommend graduation, a gradual process to breatharianism, or what would you say about that?
Oh, absolutely. A gradual process is the way to go. Because when we deal with spirituality now, there was a time in the old school, no pain, no gain. Now, since we got a lot more information, it's no brains, no gain. You understand? So now we got a lot more information where your transition should go smoothly and gradual, and you should have fun while you're doing it. So there's two things I give to a people. Don't focus on food freedom. Focus on your current health. So, when I'm doing my retreats, first I tell them to add in fasting once a week. And they'll say what type of fast. Offer which you can handle. If you never dry fasted before, don't go there. See, any little change you make on the body changes the whole body. You can leave salt alone for a week. There'll be dramatic changes. Your skin will change. Your eyes will change. You can leave sugar alone for a week. Drastic changes. I seen a man stop drinking soda, didn't change none of the other diet. You lost all that weight just drinking soda, stop drinking soda. Little minor changes do big things.
Wow.
Do this make sense? So,
Consistency.
so it's the consistency again. Find out where you at, and this is what it boils down to. Be honest with yourself where you at. Because again, if you try to jump too fast, and if you try to suppress something, eventually it's going to come out. To give you a story, I used to love avocados and Fritos. That was a hard transition. So even though I wanted to be food free, as soon as I'm watching TV, they got to sell at the store with avocados. So I found myself, I couldn't control my body. It's going to the store. So I decided to enjoy myself on avocados. Everything else was easy. But over a period of time, as I'm enjoying myself, just like anything, the desire began to leave, and that was the indication that it's time for my body to move on. So the gradual changes that we start taking, and believe me, these gradual changes don't take fast. You'd be surprised how the body would get this new information. It's like a kid. Sometimes you even got to reward it. You did good for these 3 days. This weekend, I'll take you for your favorite juice. That's how you have to talk to your body again. Because it's just doing what it's supposed to do. If not, it's still got that last program in it that you're starving me. You're beating up on me. So then you'll find a person binge eating. going into a bad eating habit. You don't want to do that. You want to take your time, enjoy yourself along the way, reward yourself, but slowly back up off the food and then allow your body the energies to pick itself up. And it will tell you again. Because one day I went to go eat some avocados and it didn't taste the same. So I said, this must have been a bad batch. I went to another store. It still didn't taste the same. So then I went to another city. Maybe the whole batch was bad that came to Ohio. So when I ate the avocado, it didn't taste the same again. That let me know that my body was now over with that old love affair. So we made love affairs with some of these energies we was with.
Of course.
Right, everybody got some of these favorite foods. It could be dates, something.
We cherished it.
Right, cherished it. So don't beat yourself up over it. Just understand that that's what took place. Deal with that and just allow yourself to enjoy it, but slowly let up off of it when it's time. Your body will let you know. Everything is user-friendly now. This is heavy. I love it. Any more questions?
Yes, this is Yakini. Shalom. My question is, why did you do it?
Oh, man. Well, a system is invisible until it goes down. So when I was in the church, doing my ministries, I would have never made that transition if there wasn't a problem with the health. I had to seek new answers. So that led me to the kingdom. And then when I seen these new changes, see, every diet change you make, you have benefits in it for a season. But then other aches and pains will show up. That's why you can't take a new diet and say this is the new truth. When those new things and those new indications start popping up, that's the body saying, okay, let's move on even more.
Right sheets.
They are steps to go to your fullness. The body by its nature wants to ascend. It wants to resurrect. We didn't know that. That's why I even know fruitarians. They're talking about it like it's a Bible, but then all of a sudden, but I got this taking place, that taking place. Because your body is saying now it's time to figure something else out, to move on. You ain't supposed to stay there.
Get out the body.
Right. Absolutely. Any more questions? Did I answer it? Oh, what made me do it? So, as I seen just what a vegan diet did to me back then, and then I started to explore more to how far I could go, because I do got a caloric personality. I love challenging myself. So, and now you got to ask yourself the question, you're living this life, you want to live the best life you possibly want to be. Whether if you believe in God or not, you want to live the best. So you want to harness these energies. If you have access to it and can do it, you want to be the best at what you're doing to live good. This is why I say I live in heaven. Why did you do it? I got tired of aching and paining.
Excellent. Excellent.
Well, what else question could it be?
Rock bottom again.
So that's how it was for you. It was physical aches and pains. For some people, it's emotional aches and pains.
Which is the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
And because all of these frequencies wind up beating up on the body.
Right.
So now, once you stop beating up on the body, do you need the body?
You're going into nobody. You want to become a nobody.
Okay.
Exactly what do you mean when you say nobody?
A nobody.
You're not in the
See, the
physical
ego
realm.
wants to be somebody.
Okay.
So it chases external things to make it into somebody. It's going soon. That's why, how Buddha said, the desire leads to craving. And the craving leads to pain and suffering. But that's the lower frequency desire. That's why when you overeat, you crave more. You want more. You wake up hungry the next day. Uh-oh. But now we got to go to another desire. And as we go into that other desire, and when they meet, you see, right now, our body's at a lower frequency. It's in opposition to the higher desire because it don't understand yet. That's why, again, this is a process. To get it to see the value within going the other way. See, there's some foods I still remember how they taste, but I don't want to experience it no more. You grew up.
Oh.
When I was a kid, I knew what it like to play with toys, but I don't buy toys now. You understand? You already enjoyed the experience. You don't need to do it for all your life.
And that's something new.
Go into something new.
Different.
This is just another experience.
I said that.
Everything's an experience.
Another creation.
Another creation.
Keep
Continuous.
Continuous.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
all the sense in the world. Of course.
Right.
That's what I said. Heaven would be to continue.
To create a new heaven, which is a mind or a consciousness, which creates a new earth. A new body or no body at all. You become a nobody now.
Why? Because you don't feel it that much.
You don't feel it.
Right? It don't ache. It just feels good.
It feels right. The only time you think about your leg is when it's painted because it don't exist. Right. You think about your arm because it's painted. If it ain't painted, you ain't thinking about it. It don't exist. You want to become a nobody. Get up out of it. Put it back in its proper place. Mind over matter.
Consciousness over.
Right.
Because the mind has got us in trouble. That's
The mind got us in trouble,
We got to
right?
get rid of that.
The
It's
consciousness.
over. Because consciousness is all things.
All things.
You know, so we don't want to be nothing but what? Pure consciousness.
Pure consciousness.
All right.
Absolutely. Which is in our birthright. And I'm glad you brought that up. The pure consciousness. Everybody has the pure consciousness within them. It's like a clear sky. The clear sky is within you, but every once in a while the sky get clouds coming across it. Now the clouds is moving, some faster than others. Those are different situations. But if you allow the clouds to pass, it ain't going to stay there forever. There's still a clear sky there. Now, of course, the more chaotic life you got, some of those clouds get dark. Thunderstorms. You don't want that. We're going to keep a clear sky. That's why they say how the Indians used to control the weather. That's the weather you control and the consciousness. You want clear skies.
That's perfection. That's wholeness.
That's holiness.
Yeah.
Completeness.
Yes.
Righteous cycles. Righteousness.
I can ask this question now.
Yes.
You know, you talked about the difference between fasting and living on prana.
Right.
And I think it ties into what Itai talks about, trying to save the body, but more so trying to build the spirit. It's a difference.
Gotcha.
Okay.
There's a difference between fasting and living on prana. Fasting is temporary and it's designed to purify the body, which also purifies the mind. But it's temporary because the body don't have enough energy to sustain itself on its own. This is why meditation is the foundation or living on prana. Because you're building up the energy within the body by keeping the energy centers open, and it's just like a river. A river's flowing and it's about this big. But the more you meditate, the more you opening up that river, and there's a stronger flow of energy coming through. So you're like an energetic bodybuilder. In other words, my energy field is a lot more expanded. So therefore, you're bringing more light coming through the body with no blockages. You understand? So the body, once it picks up a certain light quotient or what it can hold, it could go for a longer period of time or indefinitely, you understand, compared to just fasting. Is that making sense?
So
You ain't falling all over the place.
So we're almost like you said, a everlasting light bulb. We got the lumen, the light going.
Light bulb. Everybody's like a light bulb. It's just that some are more bright than others. They even show us when you get a bright idea on cartoons, the light bulb come on. Right.
But you talked about that lumen. You know how the watts are going traveling through this tube,
Absolutely.
and that's the same as a light bulb.
Absolutely. We're like transceivers. Not only you're transmitting energy, you're constantly receiving.
Okay.
Constantly, on a constant level. A give and take.
Anytime you got any questions?
I have a question.
I'm 100%, and I say I'm 100%. The only thing that I would ask, Elitom, is have you read the book Man's Human Consciousness by Hilton Hotimo?
Is it man's higher consciousness or human consciousness?
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Man's higher consciousness.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, man's higher consciousness.
Right.
Yeah.
And all of these books are saying the same thing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. But like we said, the knowledge been here, but now we're taking it from myth to reality. We're manifesting it. Because we are the book.
Absolutely.
The story is already written. It's already in you. That's why when you're on this path, what move do I make next? See, everybody experiences it. You be in a situation in life, then all of a sudden when you really want to know something, the right event will come or the right people will come to tell you what you need to do next. So this is why you start trusting yourself again. Start trusting the process. You understand? Where you need to go to next, where you need to move to, will come up out of you. But you just have to be willing to accept it.
That's absolutely correct. Can't come from no place else.
Right.
Can't get where else gonna come from?
like
And you be able to relate to
I'd like to follow up on my original question.
Yes.
And I want to again make a statement. I was with you. I watched you go from cooked food to live.
Right.
When you went live, it wasn't no. You were creative. I think most of us are still at the cooked food level, and I think if you can remember way back there, I think it would be an excellent change for us to understand how to have a good variety, enjoyable, really highly, exceptionally high, enjoyable live diet. Because you created that.
Right.
I don't know if you remember, but I certainly look forward every time you come up with a new live dish.
Exactly.
It would be an excellent transitional opportunity, even for the whole kingdom.
Right.
To know the wisdom of how to create an exceptional live diet.
Right.
So I'm asking you, that's my statement, and my question is, can you see the possibilities of, from where you are, going back and helping us to have the option of having this exceptional live diet, which is a very powerful step. I would really love it personally if it's not something for many.
All right.
I'd like to get with you on making that transition for myself.
Right.
To that exceptional live diet. And then from there, I appreciate your answer, but that's my question. Can you see the possibility, or it's even a question for all of us?
Oh, absolutely.
Drawing upon your extreme wisdom from 18 years ago. If you've been on the path 18 years, then that's when we were together 18 years ago.
Right.
And that's when I remember that live diet. So, maybe you can speak to that.
Dabi, I appreciate your question and your comment, and I want to throw another question in there, and I want him to make my question his last after you answer yours. Now, my question is tied to the live food or the cooked food, both being vegan. Is there any significance in terms of one as opposed to the other? All of them is live, Is it one that you're going to get the best benefit from? Meaning most people would believe it's the live as opposed to the cooked. So my question to you is, one greater than the other as you tie all this together in respect to his question, okay?
Oh, absolutely. Now, what we want to do...
I got a question. I'd like to sneak in there if I can later on, after you ask these questions.
Now, see.
All right.
You're going to let him get questions.
Now,
Okay, 3 questions.
what we want to do, we do want to have fun on the journey. Dealing with meditation, for instance, a person usually asks me, what meditation did I do? I say, find one that you enjoy, because if you enjoy something, you're going to stick with it. If you don't enjoy something, it's too hard. It's just like food. If it's nasty, if you don't like it, you're not going to stick with it. I don't care how much health benefits they say. I mean, I'm just being real. So now, you want to create this new joy. So, when I rotate in the live or raw foods, and when people hear that, it's just not about eating salads. That's boring. And we live in a good age now of information. And we got, even back then, they only had I even made a recipe book of live foods. Now they got so many, take your pick. I made pizzas without cooking them. Breads without cooking them. Cookies without cooking them. It exists. But you have to be motivated with the desire to get out here and do these things. And do these creations. And like, we used to eat an apple for a snack. You take an apple to work. I ain't take no apple for no snack. I took a whole bag of apples because that's my lunch. That's my food. And I ate as many as I wanted. Because you want to have joy on your journey with no regulations. That's your new food. See, sort of like I said yesterday, when you start a new discipline, that's how it starts out. Set times, cycles. I take 2 hours out to do this. But over a period of time, the discipline fades. That's where we get that word disciple. And it becomes your new identity. You become a new creation. That's just what you do. So to have fun with these foods, I mean, first challenge yourself. Say if you're on a vegan diet. Have a live and raw food weekend where you'll make stuff you never ate before. And then when you get those things you really love, start keeping that into your new diet. Have fun on it again. Just eat as much as you want. Because one thing about the new diet you're going into, it should be more what? Energetic, lighter. So eat as much as you want. See, and when you eat as much as you want, over a period of time, your body will tell you to start cutting it down. But don't put those deep regulations and restrictions on yourself on the beginning. People always do that. And I see failure coming when I see that. I gotta say it. I see it happen time and time again. So you don't want to put yourself up against that. And as you go into these new diet changes, don't be afraid to, like we talk about the acidic food. If it's still a joy to it, add it in every once in a while till you overcome it. Don't beat up on yourself again. Like I said, once the body got this new memo on what you try to do, the body will get you there even faster on what you're trying to beat up on it to do it. It don't work like that. You understand?
Yeah.
So, now, we was talking about is one diet change being than another. Well, let's reverse that a little bit. As we was talking about adding things in. See, when you deal with a diet, it just deals with a set group of foods that you're on compared to another set of foods. And we don't want that right now, that competition. We want to have fun on this journey. So in that other diet change, that you see that some foods can be more energetic, you just add them with the old diet change and make that transition on the things you like. And then things where it's time to break off, you know, it's just like what I said. It's very powerful to learn how to heal yourself. That's powerful. But I'm going to tell you what's even more powerful. What's even more powerful is when you learn what got you sick. You ate too much tofu. Right. You know what got you sick. You know what got you feeling a certain way. That's why this is a feeling state. Right. How do you feel now? Right. See, it's sort of like that desire again. You desire an apple pie. And when you get that apple pie, your desire got met. The first bite. The second bite, you enjoy it. The third bite, And as each bite, the desires start going down. But if you keep on eating that desire, then you're going to make yourself sick. But what we're trying to say, the desire disappears. When you're on the breatharian path, and you know when these desires come up that it's going to disappear anyway, it disappears quicker.
The consciousness.
The consciousness is waking up.
Yeah.
And it don't want to feel like that no more. I'm crystal clear with all the foods in my past, what I ate and what they taste like. You don't forget but I don't want to feel like that. Mm-hmm. That's what it boils down to. It's a feeling state. You are feeling the creative forces. That's developing your sixth sense. So your five senses is not going to take you into this. You must develop the sixth sense. And that's the feeling state. Because all senses is feeling. When you see something, you felt it. It had to touch the retina of your eye.
So it seems like a vibrational state.
A vibrational state. Mm-hmm. It was to develop and grow. Mm-hmm. Is this making sense now?
It's like a heart
so
channel.
We know how we feel. Well, in America, Thanksgiving just went. I know people felt a certain way after it was over. Turkeys and hams, that's heavy. I get sick thinking about it now. But that's where I'm at now, in the feeling state. I'm clear on what it tastes like, but I don't want to feel like that. You understand? And this ain't putting nobody down. Enjoy the level and the vibration you at. You understand? That's what it's all about. That's healthy. But if you try to push yourself to feel like that, knowing that the mind don't really want to come and you suppressing things you still like, you're going to have problems. That's where the war in heaven take place. The war of consciousness. And it's really not a war at all. It's an acceptance of the last vibration to understand, oh, they're serious. And it's going to make this transition anyway. Is that making sense?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The old cells is going to die off soon. They ain't going to be there forever because energy loves to move. And the new cells are going to be created. This constantly is taking place. This tear down and this replacement. This tear down and replacement. But you must just stay consistent no matter what takes place. As I say, stay in the light. And allow the light to purge you, both your body and your mind, or your consciousness. And you come into pure consciousness. It will become easy. It will become simple. It's just making sense. And like I said, when you put it to practice, perfect practice made perfect. You got to start. You understand? But the main thing, now let's go back what Nasik was saying. The diet. The true diet is the mind. Because when that mind truly changes itself, you can eat something that we say that is physically bad, but it will react on the body differently if the mind changed it. It don't look at. That's why they say the yogis can eat poison and don't get sick.
So it's consciousness that determines all things.
All things. Right.
But we don't want to, encourage anybody to eat anything because
Right.
your conscious level is not where it should be when you start off as to where it will be as you journey on in the future.
Exactly. And always keep in mind you're your brother's keeper. So this energy you're getting off of, not only you feeding others, they're also feeding you. And like I said, the more your vibration comes, you got to get strong first. So of course our first influences be getting you because there's food everywhere. We live in a social society where food is on the billboards. Food is in the commercials. So everything is like pulling at you. But as you get stronger and stick with this, it don't affect you no more. You understand? There's people who be in my matrix. All of a sudden, I don't feel hungry no more. This, that, and other. Right, because they're in your matrix. Now you start changing the matrix. See, the way you change the world is to change yourself. Bottom line, because you create it. You got to change yourself.
Be creative.
You're creators.
Amari, you say you had a question?
Kane, you know, what I'm getting is that everything that you have acquired, you have to learn it, and in learning, you have to unlearn.
Right.
My question is that when a infant comes into the world, comes through the womb and into the world, the first thing it does is look for suckle. Does it not?
Yes. All right, let's...
Look at the suckle. That means it grows up learning to eat.
Right. Absolutely. Now,
when it learns to eat, it continues to do this throughout life.
right.
So what you have to do then is unlearn all of that and start depending on other things of substance other than those things that are physical.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Right. See, nature does show us the processes it takes. And we're in these same processes. See, it's supposed to be when the baby comes out, it goes to his mother. Then it goes to Mother Earth, you know, as it's nourishing itself. Then this is what got skipped. It was supposed to go to the Sky Father, living off the forces. Do that make sense?
Yeah, that's in this dimension that
Now, even dealing with this process. Now, listen at this. There is an age thing that's taking place of life experiences. I don't expect a 12 as somebody who's 60 due to life experiences. Some life experiences might not require food freedom at that time. Did that make sense?
Absolutely.
Like my son, he went through the process and he's 20 years old. Of course he can learn food free, he knows it. But he's going to college, but what he does know is to keep health at the forefront. This is a health message. So he don't need to be totally food free. He has fasting in his lifestyle, he has meditation, and he keeps his health regulated. Because at those ages, you're experimenting, because this is what this is, you're experimenting. You got your friends, y'all going out, y'all enjoying this, y'all enjoying that. A 20-year-old is thinking differently than somebody. He might go total food free when he become a grandparent. It's that time. You have certain life experiences, you have certain jobs, certain careers. It might not require you taking clients out.
Right.
Your life has to be set up for it. You're raising children, and food is a good ritual when you got little children around. They don't forget those moments. It's better to grow up in a household that has food than a household that doesn't. Is that making sense?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, sure.
Yeah.
has to have some kind of food.
Right. Because that child, see, the brain ain't fully developed till you turn 25. So they're still going through a development where the physical food is necessary. This is me talking. And then they got those other experiences of starting families and stuff. That's required. But, like we said, as I teach, I don't teach people just to become food free. I teach people to eat themselves to food freedom. You must learn how to eat again. When you look at the preventable diseases in the West, that shows that people don't know how to eat. That's the indication.
Right.
Don't know how. Millions of people. Retardation. And you can eat so much when you're eating every day, you're not even tasting the food no more. One thing about when you start living a life where you're laying up, and even if you enjoy something, you can taste everything. The taste buds come back alive. Don't know how to eat. Don't know how to enjoy. So you're going from the lower chakras, the lower energy centers of survival, into the higher energies